Well, good morning, folks. Hope you all doing well today. My name is Tim Ayler. Wanted to wish you a happy Wednesday, happy hump day. And we got quite a different story today for the nation with temperatures and generally near freezing, with the exception of northern New England here. Maybe some snow moving through northern New England this morning, and rain showers moving through the south with 50s and 60s generally in the south right now. Coldest temperatures, like I said, in the northeast. We got some rain and snow out west here, and this is the beginning of a pattern change out west as we move through the next week or two, really. And the west needs this rain, and the south needs it too. And we also have the potential for a a snowstorm for the northeast, although the mid-Atlantic anyway. But I think the most certainty is for heavy rain this weekend as we move towards the weekend here into next week. And then in a little bit in the extended, we have a system maybe move through the Midwest. That could bring a pretty potent storm, but that's even more uncertain at this point. So in the short term, like I said, rain going on right now, some snow in the northeast, and some late returns out west here with generally mild temperatures compared to what it has been. As far as rainfall chances today through Wednesday afternoon, for this afternoon anyway, highest chances are around this morning in North Georgia, but generally the highest amounts of rainfall will be in North Georgia, right? Atlanta, 0 to 1/10 of an inch. I mean, it's not going to be that heavy precip today, with up to 1 inch in the North Georgia mountains. So not expecting a lot of rain, with the exception of the highest terrain here. Like I said today, rainfall chances are highest in the northern part of the state, even to the south, 40-60% chance of rain. Rainfall is ongoing right now in different areas. Quite a difference in the temperatures, upper 50s far to the north, mid 70s to upper 70s far to the south, or maybe some, sun will peek through, right? Tonight, Denny's in the 30s and 40s in the state. Rainfall, chances decreasing from north to south overnight with clear skies. And tomorrow, clear skies are partly cloudy further to the north. Upper 50s to upper 60s, quite a big difference here in the state. Northern part of the state, coolest, southern, the warmest, as you can see here. And we go 15 days out with the temperatures. Look at them maybe dip below normal for lows overnight the next couple days, but then warming up overnight, and above normal temperatures looking to be for highs, at least right now, through the extended towards the end of the month here. So it'd be a nice change, but not too hot either. Although February 19th is looking to be pretty warm, but that could change too. So as far as day 3 to 7 U.S. hazards, this is a short term, right? Heavy rain potential in the lower Mississippi Valley here, in parts of Tennessee as well, and far southeastern, southwestern of Florida Panhandle, southwestern Georgia, excuse me. Heavy snow in the Sierra Nevada, heavy rain potential right on shore here in California, and heavy snow on the 13th here in this small area in Alaska. As far as excessive rainfall, this hasn't been talked about a lot, but we have the potential for this here Friday here, right? Into parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma City, and points to the southwest and the Texas there. So this is Friday, right? And day 4, we have a slight risk here with a bullseye in Arkansas, generally around Little Rock into parts of Texas, northwest Texas, with a larger slight risk all the way up in Tennessee, parts of Mississippi, Dallas, near Oklahoma City, and parts of southern Missouri as well. And I'm sure the WPC will refine this as we go through time here. And we get to Sunday, you have a large, broad area here of excessive rainfall probabilities, which means they have a pretty low confidence, but some that we could have some heavy rain here on Sunday. So quite a different pattern setting up here. We haven't had really heavy rain here in a while, so that'll be a nice change. So as far as severe weather, we've been talking about that quite a bit here. We don't have the expectation of any in the next couple of days, although there's some general thunderstorm risk here in parts of the southeast and parts of central California, parts of Nevada, Utah, southern Idaho, and Oregon here, just general thunderstorms. Tomorrow, not expecting any thunderstorms. And day 3, we start moving into this time frame of interest with a 5% risk, a general 5% risk on the probabilistic scale here of potential for some moderately severe hail overnight Friday night. So we're starting to see some signs of the severe weather threat. And we move further out. There's no other threats outlined by the Storm Prediction Center right now, but that may change as we get through today and into tomorrow. See how the models converge on the solutions at hand. So we'll start this off on the 14th here, starting with the Euro surface analysis here. 14th at about 10 a.m. Eastern, right? So you see our system of interest here developing in the central southern plains, right? Excuse me. This is the 11th of February. Line of storms potentially along the Gulf Coast here. Looks to possibly be strong here, depending on where this low tracks, how much moisture moves up to the north, temperatures, things like that. So this low moves generally to the east, northeast slowly here. This is 5, let's see, we're starting here, well, 14th, right? Okay, Saturday, the 14th. I don't know why I said, if I said the 11th, I apologize. It's the 14th, which is Saturday, Saturday evening, okay? Move through time, energy transfers offshore here. The system really deepens here and taps into enough cold air to the north, this high pressure here, to bring a snowstorm potentially to the I-95 corridor in the northeast here. Pretty intense low here. Hard to see it right here, but the pressure, 982, just misses the New York City area, but with cold enough temperatures, you get some snow even there, which you know, threading a needle here as far as the benchmark. I think it's 80 or 40, 80, 80, 40 latitude, longitude up there. So now if we go back a couple of runs with this, see what it was showing yesterday about this time. A little bit different scenario here. Excuse me. Just sneeze like crazy. A little bit different scenario again, a little further offshore. And before that, it kind of had a similar scenario a little further south though, right? And we go back one more run. See the difference here, less amplified. And so what's happening with this? Well, we'll take a look at the 500 millibar flow and show why it's doing what it's doing here. Here's your 500 millibar flow. This is generally starting at the same time as I started with the surface analysis here. You got short, like a mid-level low up here. You get your energy in the south, and there's some energy pushing through the northern stream here. You see it right here, trough, and these two phase to some degree, although not 100%. There's some more leftover energy down here, but there's enough phasing going on to develop this enough to really bring a potent storm to this area, okay? And it wraps up and moves out. And then we talk about the feature systems here that with a more southerly flow here through the longer term, and maybe a more zonal flow even further out. So that's the Euro, and it's been pretty consistent over the past 3 or 4 runs here with more northerly solutions. So we'll have to monitor that as we go through time. And I'm going to go through all the model runs here, compare the different flow scenarios as we do this. So what's a Euro AI show? So we'll start this out on the 14th. The low pressure forming here, generally in the southern central plains. Okay. And one of the big things too I didn't really discuss is the potential for heavy rain here as we move through time. If you look at the total precip associated with this, you see there's a good chance of at least a couple inches of rain here with this, right? Especially in Arkansas area, right? Generally in that area. So move through time with this, you see where the highest precip amounts are as far as total precip, right? So now we go back to surface flow. And where this surface flow tracks is important for how much rainfall we're going to get, all right? And like I said, there's potential for severe weather as well. But you see it tracks this low offshore here. It doesn't really interact with the northern stream energy very much and goes out to sea and doesn't really impact the northeast. So let's look at the upper levels for the European AI model. So here's the Euro AI model, 500 millibar flow pattern here. So move this through time. Use your trough. Move through the south, the southern plains, the deep south, and it swings through the south, but doesn't interact with the northern stream energy. And we saw that on the surface, but I wanted to show this as well. It doesn't really do a heck of a lot. We have the energy developing the southern stream, but because it doesn't phase with the northern stream, we don't get, at least not all the way. We don't get a very intense storm, at least as far as nor'easters go. So yeah, so it's interesting because usually the European in general is the most reliable model and what people rely on, and so far it has been a different solution compared to any other model as far as the cold air, things like that. So we'll just have to see how it finally resolves here. So what's the European ensemble show? Well, I want to show you the surface low positions. There's 50 ensemble members here, right? So each number represents an ensemble member, location of low forming around the 14th, which is Saturday, 4 days from now, okay? Not that great an agreement even with the surface low formation at this point. Then we have some stronger agreement and a stronger low getting going here, right? Generally agree, but still quite a bit of uncertainty even this far out, okay? Quite a wide area here, which I would expect, at least right now. You see it moves, energy transfers offshore, and you have maybe a little bit of a tighter agreement here on the placement of the low pressure. So hence the uncertainty, because where this develops offshore and moves up the coast is important as far as the potential snowfall. Closer to the coast or further away from the coast, more, and the source of the cold air is kind of limited too. So all the factors have to be perfect to get this snow up here, at least from what the European is depicting, but not many members far to the south here. So pretty good agreement within the ensemble of what's going to happen here. So I don't know, y'all. I tend to lean towards the Euro, especially when the ensembles are showing this, because it's the most reliable model. I still think the GFS, I'm going to show you that next, is kind of out to lunch on this. Well, I'm going to show you the European AI solution as well before I go to the GFS, but this is so far, the European and EPS. So what's the GFS show for this system of interest? Well, on the 15th, we'll start this, 14th, 15th, surface low. All the models agree on the surface low developing here. I don't think that's the problem. Where it's going to go develop and how much moisture gets to the north here, severe weather-wise, is important. And I think we know also that there's going to be some heavy rain here, right? And so let's look at total accumulated precip with this. Kind of a different look here compared to the other models. So quite a bit of uncertainty with the location of the heaviest precip also with this. And it wants to bring this further south, which we've been talking about. But go back to the surface flow analysis here. See what happens with this. It just has a weak low pressure diving to the south, develops a low offshore here, but just kind of a crazy look if you compare it to other models, and has a northern stream energy moving through after that. So yeah, so let's look at the upper levels real quick with this. This is about 6Z on Sunday, 1 a.m. I mean, yeah, let me go back a little bit here. Mid-level feature, moving through the flow. Time of interest here. It tries to almost cut it off here and dives it to the south. It's been doing this consistently and loses it. A few runs back, it was like looping it back around as well, which I don't know. I just don't see this scenario playing out, to be honest with you, like this. It kind of wants to get this low developing with this northern stream energy up here, but this trough off the coast, but just not a very exciting type setup. And I think, like I said, this is an outlier still, given the uncertainty with the GFS when we look at it most times here. So what's the AI-GFS show here? Well, we got the system developing out here in the plains, right? And that's, like I said, this is the AI-GFS, and we all know pretty certain that a system will develop here, but where it develops and moves, severe weather and location of the heaviest rainfall is in question here, right? Low pressure moves generally to the south, the southeast, and this model kind of does what the operational deterministic model does, stretches it out, doesn't really interact with the northern stream, and poof, gone. But generally agrees with the operational on the track here. So what does the upper level show? Here we go with AI-GFS, well, mid-level flow, right? There's your 500 millibar flow, 500 millibar shortwave, right? Moves through the flow here. Energy gets stretched out, stays really far south, doesn't really interact with the northern stream very much, and moves out. So, yeah. So, I don't know, you guys. Very difficult forecast, even now, 3 or 4 days out. Just, I don't remember seeing so much uncertainty and difference between the two different deterministic models, especially when we get 3 or 4 days out. But hey, what do I know? I'm still learning too. But yeah, quite frustrating to see the wild swings here. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. So with what is a GEFS, which is the ensemble show for surface low locations, all right? When we initialize this around the 14th at 1 p.m., excuse me, surface low develops here, not very strong, and there should be 30 members here, and I don't see 30 there, the numbers, so quite a bit of spread here, even there, not very strong at all. Once it develops, surface low, just very weak surface low offshore, and just poof, nothing, right? Then another low moving through the northeast. I mean, the northern parts of the Midwest, the northern part of the country here, but quite a bit of spread with that as well. So I don't know. This still looks to me like it's the outlier. Within the model itself, there's a lot of uncertainty and also very weak, at least. This model's been very consistent. Excuse me for just this southward movement of this. So I'm trying to make heads or tails of why it's doing it, but I think there's some kind of bias with this system, either vorticity or rightward bias with the system that I've read about with GFS. So we'll just have to see how the models converge on a solution here in the next day or two. Let's look at the GEFS AI. Right, this is relatively new, and we have the AI EPS as well, that we can look at as far as trends go with the system of interest, right? So, and this is on Weather Bell. It doesn't show uh, precip types here. So it has a surface low developing here. All right, moving to the east, and it really does what the AI-GFS does, just all over the place, right? And so if we go to low locations with this, you see initially we start off with pretty good agreement with low pressure locations, right? Excuse me. This would be 1 a.m. Eastern, right? And then loses it and maybe wants to develop a surface low offshore here. So yeah. Let's look at the mid-level flow real quick. So because this is an ensemble, this doesn't look the same as it normally would on the map, right? This is vorticity, 500 millibars. We've been looking at this. This is gives us a good idea of where surface low would be or develop and where it would move, right? The short wave, it's almost like a closed low right there, right? And it moves to generally the east, southeast, and poof. You get this offshore maybe developing here, but it really is similar to the operational run as far as where this is going to be, right? So um, deviation it seems pretty certain here, especially when you get to this point as far as you know the GFS. I don't know, it's just out there, but um, so yeah, I know I'm not making much sense. I'll quit rambling and I'll go on to the AI EPS. So with the European AI Ensemble, I want to show you the surface low locations. Pretty good agreement overall, but still some spread here. You move this system through, and it moves offshore here. You see the more uncertainty about the low placement at this point, kind of stretched out, right? But it's going to be real important where the surface low forms, right? Because operationally, there's a big difference between like 100 miles when you get to the mid-Atlantic, northeast type systems, especially in a marginal thermodynamic environment for snow. So this is the European AI Ensemble snowfall totals average, right? This is 50 members for this system, and this was initialized 00Z today, the 11th, right? And so, there's pretty good confidence with the ensembles, the European AI ensemble anyway, and I'll go back to the EPS as well for a wide swath of moderate accumulations here and maybe higher amounts in the Atlantic Canada. So when you see the ensembles agreeing on this, then you start taking notice a little bit. But we'll see. I'm going to also bring you up the Euro ensemble with this and see what it shows. So this is the Euro ensemble, and keep in mind this is 10-to-1 ratio, so it'd probably be less than that with the thermodynamic profiles if it does snow up here. This through Monday the 16th of February. So yeah, I mean the ensembles agree that there'll be some snow here, and not as far to the west with the heaviest amounts, but yeah. So yeah, when you go through this a little bit more, see higher amounts to the northeast, probably other systems moving through here. But when you see this ensembles agreeing on this, then the average. Let's look at the panels real quick so we can see what they show. So this is a panel showing 25 different model initializations, right? Different snowfall amounts wherever the models were initialized, and the initial conditions are modified but each ensemble member, right? So the ensemble comes up with a mean. When I showed you that table, that graphic before, right, with the amounts. See, some model, this ensemble member number 1 doesn't show much of anything from the northeast. 2 has very heavy snowfall. 3 less. 4 in between. 5 a lot here for the northeast mid-Atlantic. 6 same thing, a little bit further north. 7 nothing. 8 nothing. 9 further to the north, and then 10 further to the north as well, and then 11. And you go through this here, you can see the different solutions, right? So you have 25 members here, and you go through 26 to 50. Quite a few are hinting at the potential for this to happen, right? But there's not, I'd say about half of them agree on this right now. So still got a lot to work out. Some of them show nothing here. So, gotta go with the probability. So, and the European is pretty reliable. So I still think we have the potential to have something happen here, but stay tuned. So as far as the European AI ensemble, right? This is different look at it. You have doesn't show different P types, but you get the idea. Surface low developing here, moving through the southeast. Heavy rainfall in certain areas here. We got to work that out, and develops a surface low offshore. The general average low pressure of 1,006 millibars, with the heaviest precip just offshore here, right? So, yeah, let's look at the mid-level flow here as well. Here we are Saturday night into Sunday with a 500 millibar flow with this model, the European AIFS Ensemble. You see what happens here. What we've seen on the operational run too is that you have a general trough here developing, like all the way down here. So where that interacts with the northern stream energy, and it looks like that's why it's interacting with it, right? It taps into it, and you may have some dynamic cooling, and that may be contributing to the potential snowfall with this. You see, it doesn't keep it as pronounced. It's just kind of a more of a long wave. It's almost like a long wave, not really even a long wave. It's a short wave still, but it's not really nearly as pronounced or closed off as the GFS, right? So, I mean, you see how this is even some uncertainty here as far as the placement of the 500 millibar mid-level low here, right? So, anyway, that's the European AI surface and 500 millibar analysis. So I'm going to go through some comparisons here at 500 millibar height, surface flows between different models, things like that. Hopefully give some more insight into this, why the different solutions are what they are, right? So between the European and the EPS, European Ensemble, you can already see the European has a little bit sharper low pressure trough here, right? Height's a little bit lower in general, a little bit higher to the north. Move through time with this. You have a deeper trough with the European, kind of making its way all the way up to the north here, and the European ensemble doesn't really reflect that. All right. Although see the European here has this, I'll show you. All right, has a reflection of it deeper. Although the EPS does show it to some degree, maybe in here. Not nearly as pronounced. Okay, so let's go back to this here. See how it really digs this trough offshore here. So hence the difference. All right, and the heights for to the west are a little bit lower. Okay, so that's one of the differences between the European and European ensemble. So when you compare the European ensemble to the European deterministic as far as surface flow positions here. So you have your 1012 millibar low from the EPS. You already have a stronger surface flow reflected by the deterministic model operational run of the European. Then you have some distinct differences in the pressure fields here as well. So, I mean, I would expect that, right? And when you move this through time to the really interesting part here, it really wants to develop a stronger surface low, the deterministic offshore here, a broader low for the ensemble, okay? Uh, 996, very strong, pretty strong low developing offshore here, 1008 with the ensemble, okay? So they converge as you move further offshore. So interesting. This was as of 18Z yesterday. I don't have any more recent data for this. So, but the scenario is pretty similar, even with the latest run. But this is all I got right now. So for comparison, yeah. So what's the Canadian model show? Experimental model here. Surface flow in the central U.S. Moving through the flow here. It has a solution somewhat similar to the European, right? Potential stripe of snow here in the mid-Atlantic and Appalachians, and moving out to sea, missing the New York City area just ever so slightly here. And if you go back to the previous run, it's a lot more suppressed and not a lot of phasing here. If we go to the heights here real quick, all right, go to the latest run. You see how the energy starts here, 500 millibar energy, right? See this northern stream energy up here? It's interesting. It kind of wants to phase, but not 100%. And it has this just this general trough here. Okay. So I'm going to step this back a little bit. Let's see if we can pick out the northern stream energy here. Yeah, it's hard to make out. It might be very subtle here. But you have an energy transfer, right? You have this mid-level low developing right offshore here. So because of that, it develops a surface low, and you get some enhancement of the northerly flow here, bring in whatever cold air is left down there, and potentially have some snow in that area. Um, Moving on to the day 8 to 14 U.S. hazards, right? Slight risk of heavy rainfall here along the west coast here, all the way into parts of California, Arizona, Oregon, and Washington State, with a moderate risk the 18th right on shore on the west coast here, California into central California. The risk of heavy snow is pretty widespread here. You can see the different areas. We have the highest risk, the moderate risk, and the slight risk in the dates here. I'm not going to read them all off, but you can see quite a lot of activity here in the long and short term, all the way through the 20th and the 24th. So quite active here out west in parts of the northern high plains and central plains as well. Risk of high winds is in the same areas here, with a moderate risk in the dotted brown area, dark brown and light brown, the 18th through the 19th in a large area here. Not expecting any hazardous temperatures with the exception of southern Alaska here, 18th through the 24th, and the parts of southeastern Alaska, and the 21st to the 24th in parts of southwestern Alaska. So the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook shows a warm up for the east. We've been talking about that. Cooling down out west here. The near normal to below normal temps in Alaska, and above normal temps in the Aleutian Island chain and the Hawaiian Islands. And as far as precip goes, looks like the deep south and parts of the southeast and the mid-Mississippi and Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley may be below normal precip, with high pressure building in here, right? And above normal precip chances out west in the northern tier of the U.S. Alaska's kind of split here above, near normal, below, depending where you're at. Aleutian Island chain above or near normal, same thing where you're at here, and above normal in the Hawaiian Islands. So as we go through a little more, they extended the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook shows warmer than normal temperatures for a good portion of the eastern U.S. and central U.S., generally east of the Rockies, near normal out west to maybe the northern high plains here, cooling off some. Below normal for Alaska, above in Hawaii, and near normal to below in the Aleutian Island chain. And precip looks to be suppressed further to the south here, with either near normal or below in the far southern tier of the U.S., above normal in the green areas here with more certainty in parts of Southern California, near normal to below in the Alaska, depending where you're at, Aleutian Island below to near normal, Aleutian Island chain here, and above in the Hawaiian Islands. So I appreciate y'all watching today. A very detailed explanation on the upcoming potential um, storm in the northeast, mid-Atlantic, and for heavy rainfall and possibly severe weather in the southeast. Still a lot of uncertainty about exact timing, where the heaviest rainfall will be, if we're going to get severe weather. Just a lot of things to work out. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll be back tomorrow to go over this stuff and see where we're at, and hopefully have some more clarity as we move towards the weekend. Hope you have a good day and God bless.